The Iowa Speedway Repave. Let's talk about it. Several months back, NASCAR made the decision to partially repave sections of Iowa Speedway. We're talking about mostly the corners here ahead of the NASCAR race weekend. NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition Elton Sawyer said they didn't want to do this originally. They wanted fans to see the action of the Cup Series race and even the Xfinity Series race with the original track surface. However, winter weather wreaked havoc on the track, therefore it kind of forced their hand. If you remember, at the end of May, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, and Christopher Bell all did a Goodyear tire test on the surface, and Brad Keselowski's thoughts were positive. Of course, Brad has been very successful at this track, multiple wins in the Xfinity Series. He shared that overall, the repave helped that wicked bump, that tunnel bump in turns 1 and 2, which will make the Gen 7 car hopefully more raceable on this surface. When talking to the media after the test, Brad also shared that the characteristics he remembers the track having from years ago are kind of similar to what he saw this year with the repave and the tests that he's done so far. So there's a positive there. This is where we're going to go to some more negative opinions. Bob Pockrass caught up with some drivers at Sonoma to get their thoughts on the repave. Of course, Christopher Bell was able to test there. Bob Pockrass got some farther opinions from the driver. He's another driver that was very successful at this track, but he said, quote, with the repave, it just completely ruined the corners and it's gonna make it a one groove racetrack. He went on to explain this a little bit. Of course, with fresh asphalt, you're going to have more grip, right? The upper part of the track, that's the old asphalt, the old surface. There's really going to be no grip there. So you're confining these drivers to the lower half of the track, the fastest part of the track with the new asphalt. It's going to create a one-lane situation for this race. At least that's what Christopher Bell expects. Pockrass also caught up with Ryan Blaney, who also had some success at this track. Remember, he got his first Truck Series win at Iowa. He shared that he doesn't really remember the condition of the track. It's been like 10 plus years since he's been there. But he's not completely pleased with the route that NASCAR took. He said there were essentially two options. NASCAR could either repave the entire track or leave it be so they can race on just the original surface and then go ahead and fix it. Overall, his thoughts were the partial repave was not his preference. He doesn't really know who made the decision, why, etc., but he's not super thrilled about it. Regardless, he is very excited to go back to this track. He's had a success here. Like I said, he has some family there. It typically puts on a good show. So there's a positive there at least, but again, another opinion on the concern of the racing product that we'll have with this partial repave. When I think back to some of the old Iowa races that I have been able to watch, I loved this track because there were so many grooves that you could race in. It wasn't confined to the bottom of the track or the top of the track. You could make any lane work and you could make passes from any lane. It was a very versatile track. And I'm nervous with the concerns of Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell that that's not the type of race we're going to see. We're going to have basically a brand new racetrack, and we're going to be in for a surprise with the product that we're probably going to see. And the product we're probably going to see is going to be a one groove track. I hope that's not the case though. So to answer Ryan Blaney's question, why a partial repave at all? Elton Sawyer admitted to theracer.com that they didn't have time to do a full repave. They just decided to address the parts of the track that were in the most need of help. Elton Sawyer says that they do anticipate multi-groove racing and they do not anticipate any issues this coming weekend regarding the repave. With that said, I guess we're going to find out. As for the schedule for this weekend, Friday, the Xfinity Series will kick things off at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with practice immediately followed by the Cup Series. Saturday qualifying for the Xfinity Series starts at 12:05 p.m., directly followed by Cup Series qualifying, and then we have the Xfinity Series race at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, the main event, the NASCAR Cup Series race at Iowa Speedway, will take place Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Reminder, it is a night race. Final reminder, too, is that the Fox portion of the NASCAR schedule is done. We've moved over to NBC, and the races this weekend will be on USA.